an NPC.
Life's rough.
When you depend on me
To give you
weapons, items, armor, information for your journey, and still you're pushing and trying to hurt me.
Life's tough.
When you're an NPC.
Life's rough.
When you depend on me.
Hello, and welcome to Year 2 of Crit or Miss. And on today's episode, we have a very special little game called White Death. Just look at this cover. Already you got me sold. I love the post-apocalypse, and I will always think the winter apocalypse is an underutilized aspect of the genre. Already I am pumped. So what's going on with this game? What is White Death? Oh no. Oh, this game's a module. It's not its own game. It's for a game called Mithras. So, yeah, it's story time. This week I picked White Death out because it looked like an interesting indie game that I could cover for Crit or Miss, and I hadn't covered one in some time. I was a little busy this weekend, so I told Nick to go ahead and make the thumbnail before reading the book. After I had time to read it yesterday, I quickly learned that I had made an error. White Death is a module for a game called Mithras, which I have not read. Yep, pretty much a fail on my part all around. Now I know what you must be thinking. Why not ask Nick to make a new thumbnail? Well, the last time that I actually went over there, this happened. And admittedly, by the time that I actually learned of my mistake, I had not given myself enough time to actually read another one, so really this is just an apex of failure and laziness on my part. I fucked up. Okay, I don't want to walk away with this thing with nothing but self-deprecation and shame, so let's have a look at this game and see what there is to see. Knowing full well I know next to nothing about its actual game, Mithras. White Death is actually not post-apocalypse, but a strange combination of James Bond and John Carpenter's The Thing. It is a fun enough espionage story about spies that infiltrate an Antarctic drift station run by the Soviet Union. There are potential aliens waiting in the ice. Investigators are tasked with discovering all they can about the Soviets, the drift station, and the aliens. Which I have to admit is actually pretty cool. Honestly, this premise alone is a ton of fun. You have the frigid setting along with the wonderful blend of horror, suspense, terror, and spycraft intrigue. It is like finding a lost James Bond movie in which Bond accidentally stumbles into the thing. There's a lot of fun Call of Cthulhu sort of aspects with it, like sanity checks and whatnot. And also there's a lot of really fun intrigue about the investigation and not really knowing what you're getting into with this. So really, has a lot of great things going for it. The artwork is also rock solid as well, and gives you a great feeling of the coldness as well as the setting itself. But also, really, judging the game of Mithras just from what I'm seeing from this book after reading countless other RPGs, the system looks good too. It looks like sort of a mix between D&D and Call of Cthulhu that's kind of really working for it. So just judging by that itself, I mean, this thing seems pretty rock solid. Regardless if I've ever played the game or not, I can spot good concepts when I see one. The game looks and feels great. It has a great blend of some of my favorite movies from the 80s, and does so in a way that makes sense. Hell, reading this module alone is enough to make me want to pick up Mithras just so I can play it. So this module that kind of stumbled upon me unwittingly and admittedly mistakenly, it gets a crit. It's a pretty solid game. I don't know much about the mechanics, but judging from what I can see in the book, it looks like it's pretty solid, and you can even take some weaker concepts and actually make them good with your own homebrew versions. At least the concept of the drift station, the Soviet Unions, and also just the mixes of John Carpenter's Thing in there, it's really the perfect blend that kind of creates its own sort of story, its own uniqueness, and something I haven't seen much before. So, all things considered, getting a crit. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm actually going to go and find a real game to review next week. See you then.